how about interpreting division using the idea of how many units in one group? Okay, so now let's go back to number 1, 2/3 divided by 2/9. This time, the 2/9 represents the fraction of a batch of cookies that's the 2/9 that I can make with 2/3 of a bag of chocolate chips. Okay, so I use 2/3 of a bag of chocolate chips to make 2/9 of a batch of cookies. Question is, how many chocolate chips do I need to make a whole batch of cookies? So 2/3 of a bag is needed for 2/9 of a batch of cookies. Three bags are going to be needed to make a whole batch of cookies. And the reason is because I can multiply the 2/3 by 9/2. So by inverting the 2/9, then that will tell me how many bags I need for a whole batch of cookies. Okay, and then let's apply that thinking to the second example. So in this case, I use 1/4 of a bag of chocolate chips, and that makes 3/4 of a batch of cookies. Okay, so 1/4 of a bag of chocolate chips only makes 3/4 of a batch of cookies. So how many bags of chocolate chips do I need to make a whole batch of cookies? So if I multiply 1/4 by the inverse of 3/4, so multiply 1/4 by 4/3, then that comes to 1/3. So So 1/3 of a bag of chocolate chips is going to make a whole batch of cookies, because 1/4 of a bag makes 3/4 of a batch, and so 1/3 of a bag. So this is the fraction of a bag needed to make one batch. Okay, so that's a couple of examples of word problems for dividing fractions. And there's kind of two different interpretations that you can use. One is based on the idea of how many groups, and the other is based on the idea of how many units in one group.